Hello students, I am going to discuss the chapter Categories of Computer and Computer Languages. As you carry different types of bags to different places according to your requirement, you have the option to take computers that suit your needs. But before we begin, let us discuss what is a computer and how are they categorized. A computer is an electronic device which takes data, that is information, as input, processes the data, that is calculations, and displays the output, that is result, on the computer screen. They are categorized on the basis of size, speed, and capacity. Size, how big or small the unit is. Speed, how fast it can perform calculations, and capacity, how much data it can store or save in memory. The following diagram or image shows different types of computers: micro, mini, mainframe, and supercomputer. Microcomputer is further classified as desktop computer, laptop computer, tablet computer, palm-top computer, handheld devices, and embedded systems. Handheld devices are further classified into smartphones and game console. Let us discuss each type. Microcomputer. Microcomputers are small in size and less costly. They are also known as personal computers, which means that a computer that has been designed to be used by only one person at a time. Mainly used at offices, homes, schools, etc. Mini computers. Mini computers are bigger in size and expensive than microcomputers. They have high processing speed, that is calculations at a very high speed. They support more than 4 to 200 users and are mainly used at banks, universities, etc. Mainframe computers. Mainframe computers are very expensive, can take a huge amount of data, support hundreds of users at a time, and are mainly used at banks, airline, and railway ticket reservations. Supercomputers. Supercomputers are very expensive and most powerful computers. They have high processing speed and are used for weather forecasting, space research, and satellite control, etc. Let's see the different types of microcomputers. Desktop computers. These computers are labeled as desktop computers and hence can be placed on a desk. They come up with several units such as mouse, monitor, keyboard, and CPU, which when connected works as a single unit. Laptop computers. These computers are small in size and expensive than desktop. They can be placed on the lap. It operates on battery and is portable. Portable means easy to be carried from one place to another. Palm-top computers. Palm-top computers are small computers that fits in your palm. They are lightweight, small, and battery operated. They have similar feature as that of a computer. Can be easily taken in your hand or placed in your pocket. There is no usage of keyboard or a mouse. Instead, a pen is used, which is known as a stylus, or there is a small screen with compressed keyboard. Tablet computers. Tablet computers are smaller and lighter than laptops. The touchscreen display is operated by finger or a digital pen, which is known as a stylus, instead of a mouse or a keyboard. Handheld devices. They are small and can easily be held in hand. also known as personal digital assistant. They have either touch-enabled display or a small display unit with a keyboard. Embedded system. Embedded system is a combination of computer hardware and software fixed together in a larger unit. Examples of embedded systems are mobile phones, video game consoles, digital cameras, washing machines and dishwashers, etc. An example of embedded system can be, in a washing machine, the role of embedded system is to take instructions from the user, that is input, through the buttons and convert them into command. These commands are passed to the washing machine to wash clothes, that is process, and finally you obtain the result, that is washed clothes. Students, you all will agree that we need a language if we want to communicate with each other. Language is a key to human life. Language allows us to communicate with one another. We all need a language to express our feelings and emotions. In the same way, a computer also needs a language to communicate. So what is a computer language? A computer cannot understand any command that you give in English or in any other language. It understands only machine language or binary language of 0 and 1. It has its own set of instructions for communication, or what we call computer languages. For example, C, C++ and Java. If you can see this figure, the boy is typing wow on the screen, which gets converted into the binary form or the machine language which the computer understands, 0 and 1. Let us now understand few computer jargons. Now, what is a program? If you want your computer system to work, you may need to give commands. So these commands and instructions that you give to make your computer function or work is known as a program. To write a program, we need a computer language, and the computer language that we use to write these commands and instructions is known as programming. So what is a syntax? When you write English, you frame sentences, you make words, you write letters, so you follow certain grammar in that. In the same way, when I write a program or use a programming language, I may need to check the spelling and the grammar of that programming language. To check the spelling and grammar of a programming language, we call it syntax. The different types of computer languages are machine level language, assembly language, high level language, and fourth generation language. This table will help you to understand the different types of computer languages. Machine language or the first generation language, only language that the computer understands, also known as low level language. They are written in binary language of 0 and 1, the only language that the computer understands. It is difficult for the users to write and correct mistakes in the program written in machine language. Program that you write for one computer may or may not run on another computer. Assembly language. This is the second generation programming language, also known as low level programming language. Instead of using 0 and 1, that is the binary language, you use English words, names or symbols, also known as mnemonic codes. It is machine dependent, which means codes that you write for your computer may or may not work on my computer. High level language, simple and easy to learn and use, because these languages are written in simple English. They are machine independent, which means program that you write for your machine may work in my or maybe in any of your friends' computer. Programs written in a high level language must be translated into a machine language by a compiler or an interpreter, because a computer understands only machine language, not an high level language. Fourth generation language are very user friendly and independent. Very minimum effort is required from the user to write these kind of languages. They have high execution speed and reduces the programming effort. So let us see what is a language processor. Just now, in the previous slide, we discussed about compiler and interpreter. We heard this word compiler and interpreter. So let's discuss that. A language processor. A computer, as you know, understands only machine language, that is binary language of 0 and 1. And program written in any other computer language or high level language has to be converted into machine language. To convert a high level language to machine language, we need a software, and this software is called a language processor or translator. There are three types of language processors: assembler, compiler and interpreter. An assembler translates an assembly language into machine language. The program which the user writes is known as the source program or the source code, and when it gets converted into machine language, it is known as object program or object code. Compiler. A compiler converts a program written in high level language into machine language at once. That means that if you write a program, say for example of 10 lines, the compiler is going to read all the 10 lines together, and then it will execute those 10 lines along with the list of mistakes. That means the errors are listed once the whole program is converted. So let's see what is an interpreter. An interpreter also converts a program written in a high level language into machine language, but it converts one line at a time. That means it will read the first line of the program, and if it finds a mistake, will display the mistake and ask the user to rectify it. Once the user rectifies the mistake, only then it will move to the next line. If the mistake is not rectified, it will not move to the next line. So this is the difference between a compiler and an interpreter. An interpreter will read line by line, and a compiler will convert or read the whole program first, and then it will show the mistakes at the end. Thank you.